This is Rose Heartsong with Follow Your Heartsong. We talk about all things taboo. We love to dive into sexuality, spirituality, holistic healing, and talk about things that maybe people aren't talking about regularly out there in the world. And we want to make it more comfortable, inspiring, exciting, activating. And today I have a really fun guest that I'm really excited to have on tonight. I actually met her herbs before I met her.
Yeah.
I hosted a women's Mary Magdalene retreat a couple years ago. My dear business partner and girlfriend Roxanne Ruby brought all these amazing, yummy, nourishing tonics to the retreat, and she didn't tell me where she got them. And I just started drinking them. And then at the end of the retreat, there was bags left over, so I grabbed them and I took them home with me. I was like, I want these. So I've been drinking these incredible herbs. And then my guest Rhea Alexander, we ran into each other at a conference in Los Angeles. I think it was a holistic health conference. I was like, I know your herbs. I don't know you, but I know your herbs. And so we met there and really got to see each other and express gratitude for the amazing products that you have. I'm really excited for her to introduce herself. She's the founder of GAIA Tree. She's a Vitalist herbalist, which I don't even know what Vitalist herbalist is. So I'm really excited to learn more about that. A holistic chef and a sacred plant immersion facilitator. And I'm so excited because we're about to dive into aphrodisiac herbs tonight. So welcome, Ray. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to have you on and to dive into this juicy topic.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Rose. It's a blessing to be on here and talk about all things plants, which is always my favorite topic. I'm happy to be here and share a little bit about aphrodisiacs and all the things that does to us.
Amazing. So what is a Vitalist herbalist?
So a vitalist herbalist, it's like a mode of perception, a way of seeing symptoms as a communication, symptoms as a language, and following the vital force energy of the body to support it and bringing it back into balance. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of vitalist herbalism. We're not only working with herbs to support the body, but also working with food as medicine and habits and patterns. We bring it all together holistically to support the body and the vital force energy that moves through the body.
Mm, I love that. So tell us a little bit about you. How did you get into herbalism? Just share a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, I would say the foundation of my practices have been food. I've always loved food. I have Venus and Taurus in the fifth house, so I love all things senses and sensuality. If I can taste it, feel it, touch it, I'm all about it. Food has always been a big love language of mine. After graduating university, I was like, you know what? I love the ocean. I love food and I love sailing. So I jumped in to being a yacht chef and I was like sailing and living on boats in the Caribbean, the Bahamas, Fiji, and all over, cooking for people. And yeah, it was a really fun part of my life until I burned out and was like, wow, I feel imbalanced. I don't feel emotionally stable. I started going through some addiction habits and found myself traveling to Bali and didn't know anything about Bali, went to Ubud, and then my first day, somebody invited me to a cacao ceremony and ecstatic dance, and my whole life changed. I lived in Bali for about a year where I dove into food as medicine, started taking trainings and courses. I shifted from cooking to cooking for retreats, started diving into herbalism, sat my first ayahuasca ceremony, which completely changed my life. Didn't look back from there. From there, I just dove into ayahuasca and went down to Peru, started doing a bunch of dietas and jumping into herbalism training courses, increasing my foundation, not from just food as medicine, but how can I also learn and utilize herbs as medicine to help support the vitality of the body. I've just been deepening into that practice the last 10 years and have been building up GAIA Tree ever since then, which has many different branches from my apothecary product line, Ray of Light Apothecary. We cook for retreats and large events. I do these online sacred plant immersions where I teach people how to form a relationship with a plant and yeah, many other things. I'm actually about to be building out a little cafe, so I'm just excited to be bringing all this beautiful herbal magic and food medicine to everybody's hearts and bodies. It's been a really beautiful, fun, and also comes with challenges. I'm excited to talk about all things plants.
I love that so much. So were you raised with food as medicine, or was that a strange concept for you?
I would say was a little strange. My mom cooked a lot of at-home meals, which is really nice, and I also traveled a lot as a kid. So yeah, there were fast food was involved and candy and all the things. Standard American diet when I was growing up, but I was always interested in things like meditation and reading Buddhism books. When I went to Bali, it was just like the egg cracked open and everything was like, "Oh my God, not only is there so much to look into, but there's a whole community of people that live their lives like this. This is amazing."
I love that. I asked that just because I was blessed. I'm very blessed. I feel very grateful. I was raised on a macrobiotic diet with parents that we had our own goats and I had a farm and I made my own sauerkraut. I think as a young kid, I knew what chamomile was and I could just pick it off the ground and eat it because there was no toxins anywhere. And so I feel very blessed and grateful for that foundational upbringing. A lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing your relationship with food." And I'm like, "Really, it's not amazing because that's just my reality. I just did what I learned." When people are so educated and that's not what they came from, I'm always quite impressed with that because it's not the foundation of where I came from. And there's a lot of relearning and re-educating. And I think anyone can do that at any age. And I want to talk a little bit about what food as medicine means. For those listening, it's like, what is food as medicine? I understand it completely because that's how I'm committed to living my life every single day. For somebody who doesn't understand that concept, how would you explain it?
Yeah, food as medicine. As I shared, we have the vital force energy in our body, and I really see the body as an ecosystem. The body can shift and change. It's very malleable. It can shift and change quite easily depending on what we are putting in our body, what we're ingesting. Even our thoughts can shift the physiology of our body. I see that what we are ingesting, what we are putting in our body on a day-to-day basis is our diet. The food system shifted throughout just a few generations. It's really important to tune into what food is medicine, quality over quantity. Where was it grown and how was it grown? Was it pumped with antibiotics and pesticides? We know that stuff is poisonous and it affects the body and it creates toxins. And is that medicine? No, it's not medicine. It's the opposite. It's poison. And so, what is food as medicine? It's just high quality food that comes from the earth, grown in a way that is more natural. We can support it naturally as earth tenders without poison, and it can grow in its own way, or we can even wild harvest and take care of animals without pumping them with toxins and poisons. When the grass gets pumped with that, and then the animals eat that, and then we eat the animals, it's going into our body. I really feel like medicine is, first of all, organic, natural, grass fed with minimal to no preservatives and poisons and toxins. Medicine is also listening to our body, like the body as an ecosystem, symptoms as a communication in a language where the body can share something is going out of balance. And we can utilize the energetics of food to support the body and bringing it back to balance. If the body is too dry, we can look into, oh, what kind of moistening foods like rice, chia pudding, or oats can I eat to bring those energetics back into balance? And I think food as medicine isn't only being mindful of where we're sourcing our food, but also getting to know our body and tuning into our body, tuning into what our body needs and when does it feel like it's in its highest vitality. For some people, eating oats every day might be that support system to feel that vitality. And for others, it might not be that at all. And
Yeah, I don't I don't
Mhm.
eat oats. They're super inflammatory for me. So it's a really good example. I actually just looked it up because I was curious. The word diet in our modern society is like, when I think of diet right now, I think of restriction, right? That's the primary thing. Oh, I'm on a diet, so I have to restrict what I eat. I have to restrict my calories and all that. Unfortunately, it's still common, which kind of blows my mind that that's the reality we still live in. I looked it up and it comes from dieta, which means way of life or regimen.
Hmm.
That's interesting. It's like a way of life. And I like that a lot. Because I think that you and I very much live in the frequency of food as a way of life. It is our nourishment. So we are on a diet. I love that. Yeah, to me, I think as food as medicine, is what I'm putting in my mouth right now going to harm me or is it going to help me? Is it going to nourish my body? And I think if you are not on this journey of food as medicine and this is like a new concept to you, that's really getting curious of like when you put something in your body, do you feel exhausted afterwards and want to take a nap? Or do you feel energized and excited and focused and ready to take on the day? Or do you want to take a nap after lunch or after dinner? That's usually meaning that something you're putting in your body isn't nourishing you. And one of the best ways I think, and I love that you do the plant immersions, which we could talk about for a minute, but is restricting when you go on a quote unquote like healing diet, you take out what all the stimulants, which is what you teach a lot in your plant immersions, is you take out the stimulants and get simple and basic and then listen to the body because everybody's different. Like for me, I do amazing. I actually follow the blood type. It works for me. I'm a B negative. And so I need dark red meats. And if I don't do it, I feel lethargic. We live in a world where red meat is bad, quote unquote, for a lot of people. But I do good with venison, elk, and bison, and it really nourishes me. I think we've forgotten that as a culture, we just follow what's most actively popular versus following ourselves. In your plant immersions, talk a little bit about that. I know I will caveat that I just did her plant immersion and I actually decided to tap out, which was a big deal for me. But that's just because I have a lot of health stuff going on and it just wasn't serving me, but doesn't mean that there's anything like that was just not in alignment for me. But I'm really excited about other plant immersions and exploring with you. I really loved the container you held. One of the things that really impacted me about what I learned from you so far is that you literally meditate with the plant. I had, for some reason, never even thought of that. I do meditate with my coffee, but I guess that counts because I have coffee rituals. Explain a little bit about that, and then I want to dive into the aphrodisiac herbs.
Yeah, so the plant meditation specifically, I know that you've done ayahuasca, so because we sat in ceremony together.
That was
So
the last time we saw each other. I mean, yeah, us pulled that. We did ayahuasca together.
if you can imagine that when you drink ayahuasca, you drink your cup of tea, and then usually, what people do, they sit there in the dark and go into a meditation, really. And then, as I share, that plant is a louder plant. It's pretty loud. 30 minutes later, you're going to know that ayahuasca is in your body and you merge that consciousness with your consciousness and things are going to start happening. Right. And so that meditation gets louder and louder and louder. And now shift it to a more subtle plant, a quieter plant. You can do the same thing. Take your tea, set your intentions, drink your tea, and sit there and go into your meditation. That's really about coming into that practice of active listening. It's like this down and in journey. You go into the universe inside of yourself, into your body. You sit, you quiet the mind in this practice, and you just come into that sort of embodied listening. You're listening to the senses, you're listening to all of your different perceptions and the consciousness of that plant. When you're drinking a physical tea, you're merging their body with your body. It's a very intimate experience. And so when you're meditating, it's really good to just get outside of the box. Just like with ayahuasca, you may start having visions, different sensation, things may be starting to bubble up. And it's the same thing with any other plant. When you really sit and get to know that plant and really activate our sensory perceptions, those subtleties and whispers can start coming through. That's how plants communicate with us, through our sensory perceptions. Then all of a sudden you might be in a meditation and this song might come up that you haven't heard about in 10 years, but those are the exact lyrics you needed to hear. And that is a communication from the plant. So those are essentially like that practice of these plant meditations.
I love that I, like, didn't even think of it, which is so silly because like, I have done a lot of plant medicine in my life, but it makes sense because those plants are very dramatic. Let's just be real. Ayahuasca's dramatic.
She can really go into places.
She can take you places, yeah, and so there's the more subtle plants, but there's, like, in between plants. Because so one of the topics I would love to dive into, I'm sure you have a lot of wisdom on, is Damiana.
You don't work with Damiana much, yeah.
Yeah, I
I do know she is an aphrodisiac, and she's a pretty popular aphrodisiac. I would say my most favorite aphrodisiac is Blue Lotus.
I didn't even know Blue Lotus was an aphrodisiac.
Oh, yeah.
I work with Damiana usually.
Okay, okay.
So this is great. Well, amazing. Blue Lotus is tell me more.
Yeah, first, what I wanna share about aphrodisiacs is that to call it's that's an herbal action. When you call a plant aphrodisiac, it's because they're doing certain actions within the body, and an aphrodisiac is usually when a certain plant has an affinity to bringing more blood circulation to the reproductive and pelvic area. They can either stimulate the nervous system or calm the nervous system. They usually have an affinity to a sense of feeling an openness within the heart or relaxing the heart. They can also be conscious shifting plants. Some of them can help increase the libido and our sexual drive. When I would say about 3 out of 6 of those actions happen, that would usually be an aphrodisiac herb. And then within herbalism, there's usually 2 different kinds of aphrodisiacs. So there's stimulant aphrodisiacs, and then there's relaxant aphrodisiacs. The stimulant aphrodisiacs are more of that Mars quality, more masculine energy that usually has more of an affinity to men. They bring a lot of blood circulation to the pelvic area. They usually stimulate the nervous system, and I would say those are the 2 main things that those sort of Mars quality stimulant aphrodisiacs do. And then there's the relaxant aphrodisiacs, which have that more Venusian quality. It's usually more feminine, more females drink the relaxant aphrodisiacs, like the Blue Lotus, the Rose, the Damiana. And then one of my other favorites was mead, which isn't necessarily a plant, but it's bee medicine. Bees are very sexual with flowers in the pretty obvious way. And so when you ferment honey and it turns alcoholic, I call it honeymoon juice because you get really sexual off of that stuff. So those are like kind of my top 3 relaxant aphrodisiacs that I love working with, I have a relationship with.
So give me an example of a Mars aphrodisiac. Like more
Yeah, there's some pretty popular ones is horny goat weed. Its name definitely shares what it does. And then there's maca, also cacao is more of a stimulating aphrodisiac.
what about Shilajit?
Oh, yohimbe.
Yohimbe, I've never heard of yohimbe.
Yeah, another one. So
That a root? Do you know?
I don't really work with these ones, except I work with cacao, but I haven't really taken yohimbe, haven't really taken horny goat weed. My body needs more of those relaxant aphrodisiacs, but they stimulate the nervous system. They're supportive for like erectile dysfunction, low libido, impotence. They're very specific more towards the male reproductive system. And my teacher shares that they're not necessarily good to work with like on the day to day. They're like that quick fix because they are very stimulating, ready to go herbs that bring in that sense of sensuality, sexuality into that physical level of supporting sex, really.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that. I looked up yohimbe. It's a bark.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so excited to dive into that one. I've never heard of that one before.
The horny goatweed is a Chinese medicine. Whoa.
I never tried it. I should now that we're having this conversation, I should explore with myself because I'm so lasered into Damian. That's my medicine. But and then of course cacao, and I love Blue Lotus, but I've never, for some reason, my mind is blown. Okay, so the more feminine herbs are like Damian, Blue Lotus.
And rose.
I guess I've thought about rose as a heart opener. It really surrenders the heart, but I guess that makes sense because of the feminine. The feminine frequency has a tendency to like want to be erotically turned on when the heart feels safe. That makes a lot of logical sense to me.
So when I feel those aphrodisiac sensations from Rose, it is more so that it's really great if someone is having a hard time feeling that emotional heart connection with somebody. And there might be blocks and walls around the heart, even stuff around safety and security. And Rose can really help to move that energy, heal that energy, and relax the heart. She also helps to relax the mind from anxiety or stress. One of the things around orgasms, it's nearly impossible to have an orgasm if your nervous system is not in that parasympathetic mode. These relaxed aphrodisiacs help to relax the nervous system and get it in that kind of, I see it as like that for pleasure sympathetic mode of the nervous system, but rest and digest and come back into the body and feel our senses. They help activate our sensory perceptions, the sensitivity of our pleasure centers in the body. And I definitely love working with Rose. If somebody is having a hard time connecting with their partner, if they have walls around the heart, it's great to work with Rose. Drinking cacao with Blue Lotus in it, that is my favorite aphrodisiac formula. Add a little rose in there too, and that would be great. The cacao stimulates our sensations in the movement of wanting to go into sexuality, sensuality, and then you have Blue Lotus that also relaxes you into your body and into your sensuality. And they're both conscious shifting plants and they relax you like herbal ecstasy, where it's just like the joy and the pleasure just starts increasing. And they do have in their physical body have these, they have different alkaloids that shift the ecology of the body to feel more pleasure, to feel more joy, to feel more like our sensuality and our pleasure centers.
I love this. Yeah, actually, my favorite combo of tea, and I actually served this at a play party multiple times, is Damiana Blue Lotus and rose petals. So,
Okay.
like,
Mm.
I'm on point.
Yeah, totally. Classic aphrodisiac formula right there.
And I like offer to all my clients when my clients come have sessions, I give them that tea too.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I can't believe I didn't know. I knew, obviously. I knew subconsciously because I was serving Blue Lotus. Damiana has been my herb of choice. I lived down in Baja, Mexico for a couple years. And I was introduced to Damiana through there's this big fat lady bottle of Damiana liqueur. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's really good. It comes from Mexico. And it's this big, voluptuous, fat lady bottle. And then she's filled with Damiana liqueur. And I was drinking the Damiana liqueur. I was like day drinking. I don't drink anymore, but I was then. This is during COVID. We did things during COVID that we don't usually do. I was like drinking liqueur and I got drunk. And then my friend was like, oh, yeah, this stuff grows everywhere. And I was like, what? So I remember I'm like drunk running through the Baja like desert hunting for Damiana. And we found it and found a huge bags of it. I remember just being so excited and I started to explore this plant. I ended up meeting a company down there that I was working with for a while that was called Flor de Amor, which is flower of love. It's Damiana.
Oh,
I've had the unique opportunity of serving Damiana tea to hundreds of people over the last 5 years, which has been
wow.
like, yeah, I've taken it.
Awesome. I love that.
Actually, Damiana and cacao is a really fun mix. I've done half a cup of cacao and half a cup of Damiana tea and put it together. I've brought it to a lot of sex parties. It really helps with the social anxiety. Instead of drinking alcohol, they go to that, and it's been a really amazing alternative. But so, do you know what makes Blue Lotus an aphrodisiac?
She helps to increase the circulation in the pelvic floor. She helps to relax the nervous system. She even has alkaloids that help to increase our dopamine receptors, really open up our feeling sense to joy and pleasure and to our sensations. And she helps to soften ourself to even soften any kind of fixations or anxiety, certain cravings or compulsion. through that softening, she can enhance our joy and our sense of pleasure. I even feel this ecstasy feeling from her. So in that way, she becomes this dreamy plant, and I highly recommend working with the Blue Lotus as an aphrodisiac, and she pairs very well with the cacao, which is such a big heart opener as well. So when you pair those 2 together, it's just like this sense of increasing our energy to explore, opening our heart, feeling relaxed. And now, like you said, very great substitutes for alcohol. I'll definitely including Damiana. She's one of those relaxant aphrodisiacs, really popular in Mexico and those southern regions. And yeah, I just find that Blue Lotus she just I find her to be one of the more conscious shifting plants. She's one of those louder herbs. She's not like ayahuasca, right? But she's also not gentle. She doesn't usually have the whispers. Like it's, oh, she's here. She is in my body and I'm feeling great. Yeah, definitely recommend that for sex parties or having the cacao with the Blue Lotus, Rose, and Damiana. Another interesting thing about, like, Blue Lotus, and I'm happy you shared how you had the Damiana liqueur because traditionally in Egypt, they were in full devotion to the Blue Lotus. And at the same time, because they were in devotion to this plant elder and learning from this plant elder, they were naturally a sex positive community. The traditional way they worked with Blue Lotus was through mead form. So they made a honey wine with the Blue Lotus in it. And so when you mix Blue Lotus with honey or mead, it increases the potency of the medicine. So I can only imagine that having that Damiana liquor probably increase the potency of that medicine as well. Funny enough, this one of my hobbies is making mead, and I'm actually about to make an aphrodisiac mead that I'm gonna call Honeymoon.
Oh, I love that. I know Benjamin Pixie has an aphrodisiac mead that they make. It's really good.
He does, and I'm pretty sure he puts, like, yohimbe and medicines like that in it as well.
Yeah. Okay, so those of you who are listening who are like, what are you ladies talking about right now? Blue lotus is one of the most beautiful plants. It's very gorgeous to look at and very romantic. It comes from Egypt, but I think they're currently growing it mainly in Thailand. They come as the full flower itself, and it's a lotus plant. It's purple, really. Sometimes it's blue or purple. And you can literally have the plant in a cup and pour water on it. It has a slightly sweet, bitter texture, sweet front facing and bitter out facing, which it's just interesting. The more we're talking about Blue Lotus, the more I'm realizing that like how similar Damiana and Blue Lotus are in many ways. But I was just thinking about it the first time I actually ever smoked Blue Lotus, because you can smoke Blue Lotus and Damiana. I put it in with a joint. I was smoking cannabis. And it was such a beautiful moment of remembrance. There's this moment in time before I smoked Blue Lotus and after. And we had this gold wrapper, literally like a gold joint roller paper. Yeah, you can like with the I know. And so we did this amazing cannabis Blue Lotus, and I was so giddy, rolling around on the floor, laughing my booty off because of the Blue Lotus, and it was so powerful. As you were talking about that, it is really potent and powerful, and Blue Lotus is in a lot of smoke blends, a lot of times along with Damiana and stuff. But I love that because both Damiana and Blue Lotus help with lucid dreaming. They both activate blood flow down there. They're both feminine herbs, but they come from like literally different sides of the planet. Damiana is this little shrub that grows in Baja, Mexico. It has beautiful yellow flowers, but we don't consume the flowers. It's the leaves of this little tiny itsy bitsy shrub. Smells very potent, and it has that forward facing sweetness and then the bitter on the outside. They're very actually like they really are similar.
Yeah. Yeah,
Similar.
and Damiana has this very aromatic taste to it too, like, the very, very aromatic as well. Yeah.
I love that. And then cacao, I like that you bring that in the fact that it's like that more is you said it's more Mars masculine feature.
I only say that because cacao's a circulatory stimulant, but I would say cacao is more androgynous, and Blue Lotus can be more androgynous. I mean, you can even say Rose because she has her masculine, like her thorns and stuff. They all carry these feminine and masculine qualities to them, but there's some that are more forward facing. But when I talk about cacao, I say she because I just feel like all plants are more kind of feminine facing. But yeah, cacao definitely is that circulatory stimulant, and cacao has this andamine molecule within it that people call the bliss molecule that can increase our sense of joy and pleasure. And both cacao and Blue Lotus are both MAOIs, so they can really help to like I said, just increase our sense of joy and pleasure. So when you bring them together, they become pretty powerful plants to work with in sensual spaces.
And if you don't know what cacao is, it's the proper word for the real plant of chocolate.
Chocolate.
So, unfortunately, the Hershey's chocolate bar has destroyed the foundation of what the most magical plant is and turned it into a poison. Going back to the beginning of what we're talking about is either having food be a medicine or a poison. A Hershey's chocolate bar is a poison, but a pure raw cacao that you drink with intention and with the Blue Lotus in it, maybe you can add a little honey if it's too bitter, because cacao itself is really bitter.
Yeah, definitely add
You can add some honey to it, but yeah, it's definitely that's what it is. It's a bean and it grows usually in the tropics. Like I know it grows in Hawaii, probably Costa Rica a lot,
Yeah.
all the tropical places, and it's this kind of it looks like a papaya that's brown a little.
Yeah, it's like this yeah. Yeah, exactly, but it's like a hard shell. And the tree, cacao in its original form I'm glad you brought up Hershey's because it's such a difference. They take the cacao bean, they process it at super high temperatures, and that takes away, like, most of the nutrients and all of these beautiful bliss molecules of the cacao, and then they turn it into chocolate, they add a bunch of simple white sugar to it, and basically turn it into poison. But raw cacao is actually a superfood. It's packed with nutrients and vitamins, and it's a food medicine in that way. It can really nourish the body when you have it and it's processed under 140 degrees Fahrenheit that keeps all those beautiful nutrients and vitamins intact and then become food medicine.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you can get it like in powder form, you can get it in like chunk form. There's a lot of ways you can get it. Do you offer it on your website?
I
Called
do, yeah.
Yeah.
I carry this beautiful Guatemalan cacao from Nana Marina Cruz and her family. That's my favorite cacao. I find it to be very potent. The spirit of the cacao is very present in their cacao. Their family's been working with cacao for many generations. Love supporting them and sharing that medicine here in the States.
You also have Blue Lotus available as well and rose petals, which is awesome. And the one that I take every day, I add it to my coffee is your Rising Chai. I really love it.
That's my favorite.
What I love about your products is I feel the quality when I drink it. I have been so attuned to my body, making sure. And one of the things in the supplement and herbal world, I've worked in manufacturing and understand the behind the scenes is a lot of times we think we're putting something in our body that is supposed to be good for us, especially in the vitamin world. But a lot of times it's actually poison. And so, really educating yourself and getting to know and listening to your body. But I will say that definitely recommend Ray's products because they've been nourishing for me. I don't go rancid too. I've noticed like some herbs, some formulas, especially when they put like coconut milk in a lot of times, it goes rancid and I'm pretty picky about that. So I feel like it's really shelf stable and I always put it in with my coffee if you don't want to do coffee and you just want to do you have lots of alternatives to coffee, which is amazing. Do you have any plans of doing any sort of immersions anytime soon?
Actually, the next sacred plant immersion is White Lotus, which I'm excited to dive into. That is gonna be in the spring, March 22nd to the 29th. There's the Blue Lotus, the White Lotus, the Pink Lotus, and the Yellow Lotus. So we're going to be eventually going through Lotus's lineage along with the lineage of Rose and Mugwort. I'm excited to dive into the White Lotus, known for purity and embodied awakening, connecting us to our spiritual senses. And I know with Rose Root, we were really working into our roots and our root chakra, but with White Lotus, we're coming back up to the crown chakra. And so we're going to be working in this area for the next immersion. Really excited for that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know White Lotus was a thing. I love that I'm learning so much about lotus.
Uh,
For those of you who are interested in exploring herbalism or want to learn more, where do they go? Where's your website?
my website is GaiaTree.com, like GAIATREE. It has all the information on there. It's got my apothecary, all the offerings.
The beautiful website. I just want to say you did a really good job. I love your branding and everything that you promote is really amazing. Last time I saw Ray, we were doing an ayahuasca retreat and I got to have some of your delicious food and it was so nourishing. And it feels really nice to go somewhere and eat the food and have it be just like medicine and nourishment. I went to a party on Saturday and there was a huge buffet of food. And then there was like the vegan section and the non-vegan section, and I'm like, "But where's the healthy section? Healthy, even the vegan section." And I think that's unfortunately, that's the world we live in where it's vegan or not vegan, and I can't wait until it's like the frequency of where we go is, "This has seed oils, this doesn't have seed oils," or, "This is healthy." I call myself a healthitarian. I eat, healthy food, and I eat all food as long as it's healthy.
Yeah.
So
I was a vegan for 7 years, and, like, me coming from someone who grew up with a sad diet, the standard American diet, I feel it was absolutely necessary for me to have a 7-year cleanse of that kind of food. Now I've shifted it and come into what I like to say a qualitarian diet, which is what's the quality of the food? Where did it come from? And so that's how I make my food is like where's the quality and bridging the vegan and vegetarian and meat, animal protein and all the things because everybody has a different diet. Everybody is different. It's good to have a mix of different things to choose from.
yeah, definitely like adding in herbs that work for your body, playing with different herbs that work for you. And everything is so crucially important and to have a healthy relationship with food. And yeah, it's been really fun. The last topic I love to discuss and explore, we're going to wind up in a few minutes, but is what makes your heart sing? What's your heart song?
What makes my heart sing?
Yeah, what's your heart song?
Right now, Cacao and Blue Lotus are definitely making my heart I would definitely say empowerment coming into our health sovereignty makes my heart sing because health sovereignty is a huge one. Empowering myself, ourselves, each other to come into listening to our body, getting to know our body as our greatest teacher, and reconnecting with Mother Earth and Mama Gaia and all that she has to share with us and all of her nourishment that she gives to us as children of the earth. And just really putting my mission out there to activate healthy, qualitative food. I'm going to be opening a little cafe at the Wellsprings in Ashland. We're going to be doing partial farm to table food there. We're going to have a little herbal elixir bar too, which will probably involve cacao and Blue Lotus. And just bringing people back to that earth medicine. These medicines have a consciousness and intelligence just like our body does. When you merge them together, there's a whole other world and realm of magic waiting for us to play with. And as children of the earth, like me, my Venus Taurus in the fib, I just want to play and be in my joy and be in my senses all day. So anything that has to do with that makes my heart sing. The number one is sharing that and having those experiences with other people. That's definitely a big part of my heart song.
I love that much. Yeah. Juicy, delicious. having relationship. And I'm really happy. Like one of the reasons I keep talking about these concepts on this show, when we're having sex with somebody, if we don't feel good in our bodies, if we feel off in our bodies or insecure in our bodies, or if our vaginal microbiome is off, or if we're not able to get hard or like confident sexually, it's usually foundation is what we're feeding ourselves, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of the above. Food, to me, has always been the foundation. If you're listening and you're like, I don't know about this or whatever, it's just looking at the people that you're learning food from. Do they look healthy? Is their skin glowing? Or is their eyes clear? Or do they have a clean aura around them? Are they in good shape? Not like physically super fit, but just healthy in their body. And I'll never listen to a doctor who's overweight or has health issues or obviously gray around their face or gray around their eyes or puffy eyes. It's really important that you become your own sovereign being when it comes to your health. I've been going to a lot of doctor's appointments lately, dealing with some injuries. A lot of times, doctors don't really understand exactly what's going on. They're very piece by piece. When we look at food as medicine and food as wellness and food as nutrition, it's the holistic aspect that's that whole body matter. And one of the things people get to do is let go of the addiction to the chemicals and the pesticides and the preservatives in food that keep us addicted to it. And once we do that, then really get creative. Instead of being in that restriction mindset, be in that nourishment mindset of like, how can I eat food that tastes delicious? Because I'm always about food that tastes good. Like, I ain't gonna drink some green, gross slop. Not my vibe. Like, it's gotta taste amazing, and, I also have my Venus is in Taurus. I can't remember which house, I was trying to look it up, so I don't remember which house, so we got that on common, like, a whole house is just, like, this amazing ritual of pleasure, and
Yeah.
so
Yes.
Is that where
exactly, and so really taking that time to nourish yourself, nourish your body, invest in your health because it's really important. You're gonna either pay for it now or at the end of your life, so might as well pay for it now and thrive in your life. So I hope you guys listening got inspired to get curious about plants. Definitely go check out Ray. I think you have an Instagram account as well. Is it This Is GAIA Tree as well?
Yes, yeah, at This Is GAIA Tree.
Amazing. So go check out everything that she has to offer because it's pure magic. I wouldn't have her on if it wasn't. I'm excited to see the White Lotus. I hope my nervous system and my body and everything is thriving in March so I can join because I would love to join.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really grateful for you to have me on and to share my world and experiences. Grateful to be connecting with you and all the different plant realms, plant spaces, and conscious expos and all kinds of things. And yeah, look forward to just sharing more space with you.
Amazing. And again, this is KXFM. This is Rose Heartsong, and it's Follow Your Heartsong, where we talk about spirituality, sexuality, and holistic health, which we talked about all of the above today. So thank you so much. And again, without the listener, without you listening to us, it would just be Ray and I chatting about herbs. So I'm really, really grateful for you. Thank you so much, Ray, for being here. And have a beautiful night, y'all. Talk to you next week.